Hey, you guys, welcome. Welcome to tonight's practice. We're going to be doing a detox starting at 7:30 here on the West Coast. So we've got a few minutes, and I will guide a 5-minute mindfulness meditation before we start our practice. If you would like to participate in that, or if you would just like to do the meditation and then go on with the rest of your evening, of course, you're welcome to stay for the whole practice. It is a 1-hour restorative detox practice that we do here in the evening. So welcome. It is nice for detox to have props. So if you have a yoga block, I know some of you have been purchasing and waiting for your yoga block to come, so it comes in handy in supporting us in a lot of the poses. But if you don't have a block, you can use a blanket, have a folded blanket, something that creates some density but also some give, or you can use a firmer pillow, might help. So just have some things, and you may slide them underneath you as you find, and I'll give you some recommendations or suggestions along the way. Hey, Brian Boone, good evening. Hi, Emily. Hope everybody here in LA, it was a beautiful day. I mean, I guess I'm just inside, even though I'm teaching yoga every day. I've never been so aware of, the nice breeze that is coming through. Like, it gets pretty warm, but we've had this wonderful breeze. And I was asking Stacy, I was like, is it always this windy? And she's like, yeah, this time of year. I feel like we're kind of getting lucky though, because they'll talk about May gray and June gloom. At least that's what I was told when I moved here from Chicago. But it's been pretty much blue skies, at least for the last week or so. See what happens. Yeah, I know it can be difficult. Everybody is. We're displaced from the spaces that we're used to practicing in. If it's our studio here on La Brea, or if it's your studio somewhere else, we've all been displaced, and trying to find um, something that fills that void is really, you don't have to try, because this isn't going to last forever. We're going to be able to get back into our spaces and share the practices again. But what it is good for is to start to take the leap when you're practicing or identifying space versus it being something that you're occupied in. Think about it as something that sits inside of you. And so this could be, I know it's a drawn out, we've been doing this for, over 2 months at this point. This is a drawn out um, kind of example of how we can develop this space and take it with us wherever we go, in our car, on our trips, just anywhere. It's when it's inside of you. So give that a go. It's a practice, so you just see how it feels. There's no right or wrong, and there's no way you can mess it up. That's what I always say when we go on retreats. And Boone, you might remember this. At the beginning of a retreat, I tell everybody, you can't mess it up. I'll use a different word when we're in retreat, but you literally can't mess up a yoga retreat. It's impossible. As far as the way that I guide them, I guess if they're seated with expectation or measurements, then you might end up feeling that way. But as far as I guide them, just as I'm guiding all of you in this retreat-like structure over the course of this pandemic, you can't mess it up. And that feels pretty good when we've gone down many roads in our lives and, maybe have some things resting in us where it's, I should have done this, or I could have done that. In yoga, in this way, in what we're doing here at 10 a.m. and 7:30 in the evenings, you cannot mess it up. AJ, what's up? Welcome back, AJ. I was thinking about you because I know you were on a cruise ship, and I've heard stories, horrific stories of crew members, which you were working on the cruise ship, but still on the cruise ship. Like, they won't let them off the ship. They can't come home. They can't, pull into a port. They, are just sitting there confined to that space. As we're talking about space, like, wow, that would be something. So I'm glad that you made it home. I'm not sure how that all worked out for you, and I can't wait to see you and share more about your experience. It's been a while. It's been, I think, a year since we finished our teacher training. What a trip. All right, let's see. It's Monday. So yesterday, if we had done the training on the schedule that we had planned for this year, we would have completed that 21-day practice of intensive and training yesterday on Sunday. What a trip. 1 year. Congratulations. All right, if you'd like to join me for a mindfulness meditation, sit up tall, head above your heart. The shoulders drop into their sockets. You know, the difference in feeling the shoulders drop versus the shoulders lifting. When you're in an active pose like down dog and your arms are over your head, right, you feel the shoulder lift. So just take one of your arms, put it over your head, and the other hand is on that shoulder, and notice how your shoulder lifts. And your deltoid and all the muscles in your shoulders engage. And then when you bring your hands down, shoulders drop. Unless you're really stressed and just gripping the shit out of life, then your shoulders are like constantly gripping around your neck. That can't feel good. So we should start somewhere and just your version of letting your shoulders drop. Perfect place to be. And take a breath. Let the wave of that breath relax your belly. And there's something soothing about closing your eyes with an exhale. Okay, let's try it. Open your eyes, take an inhale, and then exhale, close the eyes down. Kind of feels like you're unplugging to some degree in the energy or your participation with anything else. And we're going to go inside for the next hour plus. And you can take this mindfulness approach with you into any practice, observing your breath, even when you're guiding, a deeper breath practice in Ujjayi pranayama and flow. You can take this mindfulness practice and observe the breath. It's the first thing so many people say when they're meditating is, well, my mind just moves all over the place. In my body, it's uncomfortable. Well, that's the point. And so if you find the conduit or the connection that you feel supported by, then go with that and repeat. And then go down that road again and repeat. And you will feel the developing evolution of your practice as you connect practice to practice. So soft focus, observing your breath. Eyes are closed. And let's sit for a few minutes, everybody. Enjoy. welcome to continue your meditation. When you're ready to come out, sit up tall, take a breath. Soft sighs, you release and bring your eyes back into the space. Feel the space inside, what we were talking about. As you start to participate in your eyes and begin to attach into the physical world around you. Again, good evening, everybody. You know why I love meditation? So as I'm sitting, you probably wouldn't have seen this if I wasn't sitting and observing my mind. In pops to my mind. Think of a thought bubble on a cartoon, and it says, I should order a pizza from my favorite pizza place. That's what it said. I didn't make it up. There's nothing that, I passed by while I was driving. It's just a thought that popped up into my head and said, you should order a pizza from your favorite pizza place. Sounds like a good idea to me. So I can get down with that for sure. Leslie, good evening. Oh yes, AJ, you got out 2 months ago. That's good. Perfect timing. You are on it, boy. I was mentioning this morning. So many of you have found the space, rather than space, let's use a different word. So many of you have found the practice as a priority in your day. And my hope is that as we re-engage with other things and responsibilities in our lives, that we never, and that's a big word to say never, because we probably will here and there. It's a practice, but we hope that we can continue to experience the practice as a priority, and to kind of like make a vow with yourself that whatever the stress may be, and from the external world and the forces that apply, and that we never let them strip us away from ourselves, from this authentic self that we've gotten to know in a much more rich and enlightened way. We've been waking up through these practices. Man, I can't believe that we haven't been able to, really talk about it. Get an email here and there, exchange a message on Instagram, but can't believe all of this, and we haven't really been able to share it verbally. But there's a lot going on. There's a lot of waking up that is happening. So consider that. If it makes sense to, kind of write those vows at this point to yourself with your practice, go for it. It can be a cool exercise. Oh, awesome night. Is it Nay? Just N-A-Y-E, Nay? And I wonder sometimes when the names are on here, we may know each other, but I don't know your code name on YouTube. So I have a thought about Nay, but I'm not sure. So I want to see if we know each other. Please tell me on the live chat. Yeah, I will stream the playlist from earbuds, but I'd say sometime this week we're going to just shift straight over to all hitting play on Spotify, which many of you are already doing. So if you need to get Spotify set up, I know there's the free version has commercials. So you may want to toggle to the premium version. That way you don't have commercials. But we're going to be going just to that platform because earbuds have been having some issues. Nayeli, awesome. Welcome. All right, so let me start the playlist, and you are welcome to start yours or follow along. Set your volumes. I found that streaming, if you're having a hard time hearing, a little Bluetooth speaker to your device to increase the instruction, and then you can blend that with your music is nice. Hey, Derek. I mean, you guys are amazing. Like holiday, evening, and still yet we have, almost 20 people with probably multiples in people's houses. So 20 plus people on a detox practice, you guys. Incredible. I'm so inspired. So let's do this and start into a child's pose tonight. And if you need any support, you could have blankets in between your feet. You can put pillows behind your knees so that when your bum comes down, get yourself situated and let the hips come down to rest. And let's take the shoulder flexion out. So turn the elbows wide. And we did this the other night. And then stack your palms. And let your forehead come down, rest on the back of the hand. And give yourself a little roll side to side, your forehead into your knuckles. Feel how that may soften the muscles around your face and your cheeks. The back of the jaw, let your forehead come back to center. Reset if you need to. And a little heavy-hearted sigh on your next breath. And sometimes this position can induce the emotional response behind your eyes, like you're about to tear up, but there's really not anything specific that you're attached to. It's just that feeling behind your eyes. Although if any point of a detox you have some tears, that is a beautiful release from your body, and you're releasing stress hormones. So please accept it and allow yourself to go down that road, and should it appear. And now, even though your vision is to rest and to release the muscles in your body, you may find that you're involuntarily gripping and holding on. So as you scan the body, notice if any of that is present. As soon as you identify it, you can actually send a message from your mind to that part of your body and more so actively release. And then soften into the new space, the new layer. Reminder, you can incorporate the mindfulness meditation throughout your detox. You're observing the breath and the air as it comes into your body and out of your body naturally. And then you're simply noticing and observing any of those thought bubbles that appear, sensations in the body, feelings, emotions, flow, stagnation, anything across the board. All right, go nice and slow as you start to hover your head. Stay as low as we can. Lift the hips just a bit. Swing your feet out to the right. Crawl your hands in. Swing your legs around in front of you. You set up with your right leg straight and the sole of your left foot, and touching your inner right thigh. And we're going to set ourselves square so we're not turning the chest to the left. You may need some support underneath your outer left thigh, or if your hips are really tight, sit on a block or roll up your mat from behind. And you relax your right toes, one hand on each side of your right leg. And then let's start to crawl the hands forward until you feel a sensation in the back of your right leg, hamstring above the knee. And you can also bring support elements of your stack between your right leg and your forehead, and rest your forearms, or you find something where you can feel the sensation. Acknowledge that you're somewhat uncomfortable, but then be willing to release and to let go through it. I don't know if many people typically call it out, but forward folds are not easy, folks. They're not easy in sensation. They're not easy based on what we're tasking our body with on a regular basis. And they tend to draw up a lot of feeling and a lot of emotion. But they do a decent job at stimulating a calmer mind. The effect of a forward fold, the shrinking in the front of your spine, and can relate to your parasympathetic nervous system, more in the rest and digest versus fight or flight. But you got to kind of get through that first intense wave of sensations that you may be feeling. So about a minute, 90 seconds in, you should feel it settle to another layer. And giving everybody permission to soften and to release your belly. there's any more room to slide your hands forward and bring your forehead closer or inside your right knee. And go ahead and go there without forcing it. And then we'll rest for about 1 more minute on this side. You are welcome to keep your eyes closed. And feeling into your belly and through the base of your spine, begin to crawl your hands in towards you. And roll up, feel the pressure in the front of your spine release. And as your head lifts, let's release the left leg out in front of you. And go ahead and lie all the way down onto your back. And once you lie down onto your back, you're going to fall into whatever the natural curves of your spine are. So for most people, the hips land and then there's a little space in between your low back and the mat. And then the middle part of your spine connects to the ground, up around your shoulders. And then like top of the shoulder again to the base of your skull, there's another little space. And for most people, if that's not the case, just go ahead and observe. It's all good. You can't mess up detox, everyone. And spread the legs out a little bit wider so heels can even go off your mat. And then keep your left heel where it is. Cross your right ankle all the way over your left ankle. And so get the outside of your right ankle or your right heel into the inside of your left ankle. And keep your legs there and then reach your arms over your head. And the left hand connects to your right wrist. And a little draw to the left through the upper body, and then with the heels and the hips and the upper back, those spaces I mentioned earlier, let all those get heavy. And close your eyes. Your gaze can even remain straight up or fall out to the right. take a deeper breath. You can bring your chin back to center. You release your wrist. You slowly bring your arms back down by your sides. Once your arms land, uncross your right ankle. And then go ahead and set here. Feel the rebound. Some of you to set in your rebound, you can take a deep breath, like 10 seconds in, and then a soft sigh to your stillness. All right, come back to a breath. Bend your legs, feet flat. And you feel any sensations in your low back. This is going to shorten and soften your hip creases closest to your groin. Now take your right ankle to your left thigh like a figure four. And then move your left foot and your hips over to the right. We're going to roll the left knee down towards the ground, but keep your right knee pointing up towards the ceiling. So the sole of your right foot comes flat onto the mat. Your knee is pointing up. And then you can take your arms out to balance you and cross your shoulders into a T. And I'm going to take, if you're having a hard time understanding where you should feel it, okay, look, and I'm pointing my finger into the top, into the outside half of your right quadricep. So you can navigate mindfully with little adjustments and to explore that sensation, and then once you find it, and begin to settle. Control is a good word to check in with tonight. How are you feeling? Being completely out of control. And perhaps freed of that pressure and the manipulation of your mind when you truly develop the space of the practice, the realization, and that it's not about control and it's not about success. And see where you're at. Take 3 Buddha belly breaths. Feel the big rise in the belly as you inhale. And soft sigh, feel the exhale. Okay, watch this, everybody. Start to let your right knee and come back in towards your chest. And then you can slide your right heel and bring it back and let your right leg go straight. Let's keep the left leg tucked where it is. And so it's like your left ankle or foot catches the back of your right leg. And then just soften here. And feel the rebound. You might feel like you started a little fire in your right thigh. And if you feel the heat, and let your soft focus hover around in the sensation of the heat. And we'll finish this side with one more expression. Start to bring your right foot back onto the mat. You square across the back of your hips. Bring your right knee in towards your chest. You reach your right arm through, grab for your right ankle or the outside of your foot. So a half happy baby on the right leg. And let your shoulders be heavy. And you are welcome to keep your left leg bent. If you have the space in your body to easily straighten your left leg out, you can do that, but you don't want to force it. Nor do you want to hold on and kind of grip the muscles and strength here. So if the left leg goes out easy, go for it. If it doesn't, keep the leg bent. Soften the tongue. Relax the furrowed brow. And one more minute. Slowly bend your right leg and release the hand from the foot. And there should be some space. Take a sigh from your heart. Release both of your legs straight. And balance yourself out in Shavasana. Legs long. Arms by your side. Palms face up tonight. And right now, this is what we're doing right now. And where'd you go? And see your thought bubbles. You bend your legs. No rush. All we got to do is make our way back up to a seat so you can roll on to your left or right side. And then press yourself up and so that you're seated facing the top of your mat. And this time take your left leg out straight and bring your right foot to your left inner thigh. Padding underneath your right thigh. A little elevation to your seat if your hips are really tight. And relax your left toes, and then you're square and we're coming forward. Stack between your left leg and your forehead or forearms is fine. And go ahead and explore yourself. Meet a sensation in the back of your left leg. That's probably where it'll start, but it can evolve into feelings in the back of your spine as well. Can be a good opportunity. Flutter your lips, in the face and the jaw. grant more access again by giving yourself permission and to soften your belly. And relax your core. Let the weight of the head drop down towards the knee. And for that matter, inside the knee if you're pretty deep. And the hands can walk out another. And there's so much discovery in detox. And discovering yourself, discovering your beautiful mind, and discovering what is not yours to carry around any longer, what never was yours. Shit, half the things in our mind, you guys, other people should be paying us to store that shit in our minds. If you're going to lay it in any further for the last minute, then now's the time. And keep the head heavy. You're welcome to have your eyes closed. And feel it as the lightness draws. And here comes as you release the compression from the front of your spine. You'll certainly notice that in your breath. You can uncross your right leg and then go ahead and make your way down onto your back. And come into the natural curves of your spine, so it's the heels and the hips, the shoulders and the head. Arms by your sides, palms face up here. I know it's going to be challenging, and there's going to be many challenges presented. But it is a beautiful space that you sit in tonight. And forget about what it looks like on the outside. Come a real fulfillment, honest truth, more peace, more love, and for yourself and for each other. Maybe. Take your legs out wider so your heels are off the mat. And then bring your left heel over, cross it on the outside of your right ankle. So you feel the outside of your heel. You can cross over the ankle and then take the arms over your head. And connect the right hand to your left wrist. You can slide your shoulders over a little bit to the right. And then come back into those heavy points, your heels, your hips, your shoulders, and your head. And relax the jaw. The chin can always turn off to the left. And certainly you can close your eyes here. And let a breath bring you back. And chin to center, and then you can slide the shoulders. Release the wrist. As the arms come down, uncross your left ankle. And go ahead and meet yourself back in the center. And legs heavy, arms heavy. And breath light. And sometimes a sigh, sometimes a cry, sometimes a giggle. You just never know what's sitting underneath these sensations. And see, most people have some sort of illusion, delusion, fantasy of what they want their lives to be. but very few are actually willing and to accept life as it is. It's a profound technique in realizing in true abundance and fulfillment, enlightenment, awakening, whatever you want to call it. And see, if I stop fantasizing about what I want my life to be, then I finally have somewhere to start. Back to a breath, bend your legs, bring your feet flat. And bring your left ankle to your right thigh, like a figure four. Move your right foot over to the left, slide your hips to the left. And then we're going to start to roll on the hips so that your left foot is flat. Your left knee is still pointing up towards the ceiling. And take your arms out into a T. That'll help. You're just creating a balance, like a balance bar with your arms. And so you're not feeling like you're tipping or toppling, and then we can isolate the sensation top of your left quad into the outer half of that muscle. Pretty cool waves here. Everybody take a deeper breath. And in slow motion, you can start to let your left knee come towards your chest. And just enough so that you can slide and the left heel out. Keep your right leg bent. And go ahead and release your left leg long so the back of your left leg ends up resting on your right ankle or your shin or your foot. And rest here in the rebound. And it's just expanding more space inside of you. Hopefully you can see it. And let's bring the left knee in towards the chest. And take your left arm through the inner thigh. And connect the hand to the outside of the foot, or you can hold on to the ankle, so like a half happy baby. And let your low back soften. Your right leg can stay bent unless you can easily, so without force. If you can easily straighten your right leg onto the mat, go for it. Observe about 5 more breaths on this side, please. Slow motion, start to let your left foot come down. And disconnect the hand from the foot or the ankle. And then go ahead and release both of your legs long. You reposition your arms and so that you feel relaxed. Perhaps you rest your hands onto your belly. And do a little wiggle of your toes. And a little roll of your tongue around the inside of your lips. And relax your jaw. Notice the softness on your forehead. And I'll remind you of these points connected to the mat, the heels, your bum, and the shoulder girdle, and the back of your skull. And you might think to yourself, why would we ever forget this space? How could we possibly lag in the understanding of what has been presented to us through practice? Well, the reality is that the energy in our world is quite powerful. But two is the energy of our practice. And two is watching the inner workings of your beautiful mind. In all minds, if you give them the opportunity, you will find this space, and will find this peace. And all of your paths have been unique, and the twists and the turns and the ups and the downs. But all of your paths has led us into this beautiful moment. No matter where you lie right now, into all ends of the world we have access on this platform. But feel the essence of being human. Feel the beauty of being at ease. And you're of course welcome to lie in your meditation for as long as you'd like. And thank you all so much for the opportunity to guide and to share the practice with each of you. I don't know about you, but to me it makes me feel that we truly are in this life together, not just in the serious of a situation, the challenge of a pandemic, but in this life and together, and we can sustain this beautiful perspective. beautiful rest if it's the end of your day. If you're just getting started, take this space with you. And I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. You invite a friend, share it with others. It's here, let's continue. And peace and love, everybody. And from our hearts and our yoga home to yours, namaste.